Okay, so I have an honest character we're going to be showing here, some clips. Honest just means I'm not really twinking too hard, although I guess it could be argued that I am if I've acquired certain things the host might not. But I haven't gone too far into the game as this character. This character doesn't even have Altus Plateau opened, level 45. I wanted to mess with a roar build character, so I wanted to make a barbarian. I wanted to use axes. I wanted to rely on a lot of the roar ashes of war that you have access to in the game. So I have things like bestial roar, war cry, a braggart's roar. Eventually, I'll get far enough in the game with this character where I'll get troll's roar. I'll be able to use that. Um, but yeah, mainly axes and whatever throwables and other consumables I've been using. Here are the stats: level 45 at +6 reinforcement. That's pretty comfortable. I will be going higher. I will be improving that once I unlock Altus Plateau. And he's pretty honest, so I don't even have a fourth slot opened. You'll see I've got the Source Seal, which you can acquire in Fort Farith and Caelid. Even if you want to make a suicide run, it's not too hard to obtain. You simply have to get to their Church of America. I also have the Beast, the Roar Medallion, which you get in Limgrave. I believe you have to beat that Stone Troll in that one mine, and you can acquire this. This is a talisman you've probably never seen, because why would you actually fight Alexander before crumbling Farum Mazula? This is what you get if you do. If you decide to just fight Alexander, you can get this as early as Limgrave. The regular shard, the warrior jar shard, as opposed to the shard of Alexander, is about 5% different. So this gives you a 10% boost to weapon arts, which you can get pretty early, or you can fight him later in the game at the very, very end and get the 15% one, or you could trade it. But again, I have an honest character here, so I wasn't doing trades, so I'm using this one. Also, I've got the Sacrificial Axe, which has a latent passive effect where any enemies killed in the level, whether I kill a player, obviously, or more importantly, if a host and his phantoms are killing people, they will give me back FP, so I can use my roars with impunity. And upon kill, I will get some FP back, which is kind of cool. So that's nice. And also it gives me a little bit of an alert on what my quarry is doing in the level. So if they're camped out somewhere, I'll usually know that. If they're running around fighting enemies, I'll know that too. Pretty useful. You get this axe in the Weeping Peninsula. There's a death bird that appears at night near Castle Morn. It drops this, you'll have to fight him, and it's pretty cool. If you pair it up with the regular axe, you'll get the two-handed axe moveset. Secondary axe is the Highland Axe. You get this in Stormvale Castle. This has a latent passive buff that enhances roar attacks, which coupled with the talisman, it does stack. So no matter what I'm doing, I'm keeping this on my left hand no matter what. Right hand, I have this Executioner's Axe, which fans of Dark Souls 3 might recognize. It's very similar to the Dragon Slayer axe that was in that game. This was a pain to drop. You get these from certain skeletons and graveyards that are actually wielding it. In early Raya Lucaria, by the lake-facing cliffs, this is right by the, I forget what church it is, but it's a church where Thops is chilling out. There's a couple of graves right up the hill there. I had to fight that skeleton as this character maybe 30 times before it dropped, but I did get it. This is a pretty badass weapon. Okay, it's got a latent critical modifier of 115, which means it's got a 15% critical modifier if I get a backstab or a guard break. My character doesn't really parry, so I mainly rely on guard breaks or backstabs if I do have an opportunity. This is great for breaking shield guards, so very, very excellent weapon. All my weapons are fire, by the way, since I'm lower level. I'm using regular fire, so this thing puts in a lot of work. And I have Barbaric Roar on it, so I can unlock this cool moveset. If I catch a player in that, it's usually a bad day for them, but sometimes people have a little bit too much vigor. But at the very least, if I use that on shielded opponents, it's usually a guaranteed guard break, even with some great shields. Not always. With overleveled phantoms, it's never a sure thing, but it's something. Otherwise, other offhand, underneath the Highland Axe, I have my Beast Claw seal, which unlocks a few utility things I have here. As you'll see, I don't have access to Bestial Vitality by default. I have that in my physic. I've got the Faith Knot and the Strength Knot. So I'll activate this during an invasion to give me Bestial Vitality if I need health, which is a good thing since my flasks are a little bit limited. I only have 8 uses with my Crimson and 2 for my Cerulean, which gives me 4 and 1 in an invasion. I have those reinforced to +8 based on the locations available to me. And again, I'm not in Altus Plateau yet, so all these locations I've unlocked for the nearby or far invasion. I'm under the assumption that the game only pulls from stakes that you've actually interacted with. I could be wrong about that, but as of yet, I have not been pulled to a location I have not yet visited. So that's my theory. I'm sticking to it. If you know better, then please tell me otherwise. But and also, of course, I have some locations on the underside map as well. But yeah, it's this is what I have available to me. I haven't been to Altus, so I don't have access to some of the other tools that I'll get there. I do eventually want to put Troll's Roar on this guy, since Troll's Roar will be a big one for this weapon. Troll's Roar, and also from my 4th slot, I'm thinking I might want to get the Godfrey Talisman, which gives me a charging attack boost, which will affect certain roar combos going into things, and then of course any regular moves that are charge attack as well. But that's going to be later once I get to the capital. But this is what the build looks like at 45, and I'll show you some clips. Pretty bad for the most part. I still lose a lot. It's not perfect. Like I said, I can't parry with this build. I do have a shield option for mages, but mages are really, really tough. I have a lot of trouble with mages with this guy, so I'm trying to get better at it. Alright, let's talk about maps. So, I showed the map. These are the locations I have. You'll see that I'm invading in here. What I like to do is, when I'm using my finger, this is what I like to do. I like to hit both near and far and alternate back and forth. For nearby, I pick this location, and I do get a lot of action in the Raya Lucaria Crystal Cave, which is right here. This place is a big deal. This is a location most players are going to come to because this is the one where you get the bell, which allows you to get smithing stones 1s and 2s. And at this point of the game's life cycle, if a host naturally stumbles across here, that's one thing. Usually what I'll come across is a host who's played through the game at least once and he knows about this cave, or I'll come across a party that's being guided. Usually what'll happen is I'll come across a questing party where the Phantom is a buddy who's leading their friends through the game and guiding them to this crystal tunnel, knowing that the bell's here, so they can help their friend get their weapons reinforced pretty easily at the round table. So a lot of traffic in this particular location. My advice would be to do similar if you're invading. Like, pick a location you know is going to be popular, and also a location that you like to invade. I also like going here in the manor, and I sometimes will hit other locations also, but mainly player locations that are pretty popular, things I know people want to do. But this cave is a big deal. This cave, besides the bell bearing, there's a lot of materials you can pick up. You can get somber 3s in here. You can get other materials by looting them from the mine. So it's sort of a big deal, and that's my method. I pick a location, and then I'll invade, and I'll alternate between nearby and both near and far. I'll kind of go back and forth until I get some games going. Yeah, let's take a look at. I'll show some clips, and you can see it in action.
Ooh, what's that right there?
Oh, that's called a swastika.